6:32. We are going to review and approve the December 8th meeting minutes, go over the monthly vouchers and financial report. We're going to spend some time on the director's report and annual reports for both the director and the trustees. And we have an item that came into us under F that we'll discuss when we get to F, which is the board of the Friends of the Library. Okay. All right. Meeting minutes. Charlotte, I didn't have any corrections or anything. Anybody else have anything for her?
Nope. I move we accept the meetings as written. The meeting notes, sorry.
There you go.
Or the meeting minutes, whatever's the correct
Second,
one.
Judith.
Okay.
Lauren's here.
Oh, Lauren, hello.
Hi. Sorry, I was having problems.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi, Lauren.
Okay, we just made a motion on the minutes, Lauren. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're going to vote on the minutes. Maureen.
Aye.
Judith.
Aye.
Alicia.
Aye.
Charlotte.
Aye.
Lauren.
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. Okay. Next up are the vouchers. Use the wrong line here. Does anybody have any questions for Matthew on the vouchers?
I had one about, and now I'm not even sure exactly what it refers to because I just wrote a note. PBC Guru
Oh, yeah.
on the online speakers. Is there any way that we know how many people? It's online speakers, right? So are we able to track how many people are using that program?
Yes, so that's the Virtual Author Talks. That's the company that we buy the Virtual Author Talks from. It's another year's subscription, and we do get numbers from them, so they track how many people watch either the live or the videos, and it's in the director's report. Let me just find the right line. Yeah, so buried in that whole list of programs, it says Virtual Author Talks. So
all right. I didn't realize that's what they were. Okay.
Last month we only had one. Usually there's 3 a month. Last month, December, there was only 1, and we had 12 people watch it.
That's pretty good then.
Yeah, usually it's a little low. I mean, we probably average 6 to 10 on those, and occasionally it'll spike a little higher.
No, good. And so you average about 36 speakers in 1 year?
Yes, probably a little less. So 3 is the most they do, and then some months there's a little less. So it's probably like 30 events per year.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Matthew? If not, can I have a motion on the vouchers?
I move that we accept the vouchers as written.
Second, Judith.
Thank
I
you,
should say my
Maureen.
name,
Thank
sorry.
you, Judith. Any other discussion on them? Just realized it's all women tonight, women and Matthew.
We run the world, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Okay, let's take a vote. Lauren.
Aye.
Maureen.
Aye.
Judith.
Aye.
Alicia.
Aye.
Charlotte.
Aye.
And I am an aye, and that is unanimous. The financial report. Oh, where is that? See it. There we go. Okay, Matthew, is there anything you want to tell us about the financial report?
Yeah, I'll make a few comments.
Okay.
So obviously more than we usually spend in a month. That's a combination of December being really light and then us catching up. So quite a large bill from Ingram. They finally shipped out. So that is like all our orders from basically 3 or 4 months. I think it's like August, September, October, November, and hopefully they're getting caught up. And then some of the other large bills, like we just talked about, the speakers, the virtual author visits are getting paid for a year. Our our last payment for our PO box came through, so I decided to pay for that out of the revolving fund just because we have quite a bit of money in there from the passport postage. So this is the last budget year that we are keeping the PO box, and I'm sort of coming around to it. They've been actually doing a good job bringing the mail in. It's just I like having the PO box makes me feel very safe. I know that things are there. I know we're not missing anything. So I'm a little reluctant to give up on that, but it definitely was highlighted by the FinCom. Why are we paying for a PO box when we can get mail delivered? So I've got basically 10 months to change our address with every single vendor and person that we do business with.
Yep. Okay.
Matthew, I do have a question. Sorry, I feel like I have a lot of questions tonight.
No, please ask.
All the passport stuff, the passport fees, the library does not benefit at all from that, correct?
So our current arrangement is the photo fees. So we charge $10 per person to take passport photos. So the photo fees we keep and deposit into the revolving fund. The $35 per application, that's called the passport execution fee, that we turn over to the town's general fund.
Thank you.
So we can't see, but there isn't a line item for it, obviously. It's built into the passport fees. Or did I miss it?
Well, we do a revenue line item for it in our
Okay.
budget report.
Okay.
And
okay.
I do put it on so if you look on the financial report that I do down at the bottom where it says passport fees revenue, we're at
Okay.
$6,676.
Yeah.
So that's how much we've taken in from those execution fees.
Wow.
That gets turned over to the general
Right.
fund. So far we've turned over that $6,600 to the town's general fund. So when people talk about free cash, that $6,000 goes into that free cash.
Do you
But
know?
we don't know how
any-
much in photo fees we have taken in.
I have that tracked.
Okay.
But on the report, all I do is I lump in all revolving fund deposits are lumped in. So you
Yep.
can see we've deposited a little over $3,000 into the revolving fund.
Mhm.
Probably maybe $150 a month is non-passport photo stuff.
Okay.
And then
All right.
$300 or $400. It's like $300 or $400 a month in photo fees that we're putting into the revolving fund.
Well, that's something.
Yeah.
Do we know if there are any other departments in town who do a service and all of the money goes to the town and the department
Yes.
doesn't keep anything?
No, the only department that keeps anything and runs their budget with it is the RecCom, because the RecCom runs their entire budget through their
okay.
revolving fund, and
Okay.
they don't appropriate anything from the town budget. So when you buy a trash bag, when you pay for a building permit, all those fees are turned over to the town.
Right.
And then the departments appropriate at the town meeting to run the department.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions for Matthew? Okay. I will take a motion on the financial report.
I approve the financial report as written.
Okay,
I
thank you,
second,
Alicia.
Maureen.
Maureen, thank
second.
you. All right. Any other discussion? Going once, going twice? Okay, let's vote. Lauren,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
Judith,
Aye.
Alicia,
Aye.
Charlotte,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. That is unanimous. Okay. On to the director's report.
Debbie, did you want to do the Fulte items first, maybe, and then Alice doesn't have to stay? I mean, our meeting's kind of interesting. You're welcome to stay. It's if you want to learn a little bit more about how the library operates, but
Are you talking about the board vote or
just
just
sort of
general business?
I had put a little update on all sorts of Fulte activities in my report. So if you want to cover
Right.
those and vote on the board, and then if Alice wants to say something, and then she can either leave or stay for the meeting as she chooses.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, if you jump to the
Yeah,
bottom of
go ahead.
report, Fulte had a meeting on I think it was the 8th, it was Thursday, and they actually have a lot of stuff going on. I wasn't at the meeting, but Leanne brings me a report, and I was very impressed about how much stuff is going on. So I wanted to highlight some of those. So Fulte is making a rather large $2,000 donation to the library to fund a sensory play program. So this is essentially buying the equipment that would allow the children's department to set up a little sensory play. It's for younger children. It's, foam blocks and, shapes and pieces like that. And essentially kids will get to sort of free play with some guidance on that. And surprisingly, the biggest expense is the cart to store. Basically, the cart is like $1,200, and the other $800 is the equipment. Leanne has really been putting this together. It's something she wants to do probably on Saturdays, at least once a month. So I want to thank Fulte for that. Because they're making a cash donation to the department, I do have to go to the Board of Selectmen, and the Board of Selectmen has to vote to accept the gift. There's certainly no reason for them to refuse, but it's just a process we have to go through. When Fulte pays a performer directly, we don't have to do that. But in this case, because we can get better deals, we're going to use library vendors and purchase things as the library. It made more sense for Fulte to give us the money as opposed to them trying to go out and buy the stuff and then give us the stuff. So it's an extra step we have to do. But they have that going on. I'm going to jump down to my report so I don't forget anything. Oh, they're talking about adding another museum pass. I think a patron had mentioned that there's a kind of a newish children's museum in Franklin that offers a library pass. They're looking into doing that.
I think they voted to do it.
Yeah, so it's just a matter now of actually ordering the thing and then getting it set up in the library system. So it'll be, at least a couple months before it's actually available to borrow. But once that's out, the library will do some advertising to get the word out that it's a new pass that we have.
So we did, I just wanted to jump in quick, sorry. So we did vote to do that, and I filled out the form Friday, and Tony paid the invoice, so we should hopefully be getting that from them soon. That's over in Franklin, and they opened up, I think, in 2023, but just opened their physical space within the last couple of months. So that'll be a great addition to our pass program.
And then I listed some other items they're talking about that are in various stages of planning. Obviously, the spring book sale, we have a date for that. It's May 16th. They're talking about doing another bulb sale. They did one in the fall, which went well. They have a quilt they're going to raffle off. The Thimble Pleasures Quilt Guild actually made it for the Friends, and the Friends are going to raffle it off. And they're in the early stages, I would say, of planning a silent book group, which is a kind of a trendy thing that a lot of libraries and friends groups are doing. So they're going to try that out. The
Can you
other thing I
explain what
mentioned
that is, please?
Yeah, because I didn't. Leanne told me that. I was like, "What the heck is a silent book group?" So apparently, what you do is everyone gathers in one space. Like we're gonna probably use the great room, and has like a little social time. Maybe talks a little bit about what you're reading, and then you actually go individually off into the library and find a quiet space and just read for
Oh.
an hour and a half or so. So instead of everyone reading the same book, it's just,
Isn't that
know.
wild?
I love it.
Can you bring wine to the library, Matthew, for that?
Unfortunately, you cannot, but you could come to the meeting and then go read a book at Rushford's or, what's the bar across the street? The Rose Garden?
Yeah,
You could
Yeah.
you could go elsewhere and read wine with your silent book
I
group.
like that idea. Oh.
Yeah. I think we found out that Whitensville, I think it was Whitensville, has one. They do one now. So
Oh,
Wow.
trendy.
yeah, I know it is kind of. We thought it was kind of strange, but it's a new thing that is happening.
Well, it gets you to read. That
I
one
guess.
meeting.
Yes. And also to socialize, so.
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
Sounds good.
And then the last item we have that is actually going to be for the trustees to vote on is a new slate of board of directors has been selected or has agreed to serve. So the process is the Fulte board sort of picks its own next set of directors, and then that comes to the trustees for, I guess, acceptance is the right word. It's not really approval. It's more just acceptance that these are the people that you want to be directors of Fulte. So you'll see some familiar names and maybe some new ones. So the Fulte Board of Directors for next year that have agreed to serve will be Alice Kellogg, who's on the meeting with us, Meg Halfpenny, Cindy Plutnicki, Tony Adcock, and Elisa Bernat. And then once there's the board of directors and then there's the officers, which are two separate things. So usually the board of directors agree to serve as some form of officer. Like the Tony Adcock has been the treasurer for a couple years. Alice is going to be the president for this year, but it doesn't always. They don't have to be the same. So the board of directors are the legally defined managers of the nonprofit. They're the ones that are allowed to vote to spend money. And then the officers are the ones who actually do the work. And usually there's a lot of overlap, but there doesn't have to be. Someone could say, hey, I'm willing to be the secretary at the meetings, but I don't want to be on the board of directors.
Okay. And I assume we have to make a motion and do that whole thing, right?
Yep, the process should be that the trustees, again, it's not really, you're not really appointing them. You're
I
just
know.
sort of approving their, it's kind of like the Senate approving a Supreme Court justice. The bylaws are sort of written that the trustees have final approval. So if for some reason there was a board, a friend's board that was doing things the trustees thought weren't appropriate or weren't the right direction, you guys could reject the board of directors, but that has never been an issue in the past.
Matthew, could you just clarify who is the vice president and who is the secretary?
So currently, Alice, actually, I don't know if anyone actually has taken the former role of. We know who the treasurer. Tony has agreed to remain the treasurer.
Mhm.
Alice is stepping in as president. I don't know if they selected a vice president or secretary, but
Oh, okay.
again, the trustees just approve the board of directors, and then the board of directors assigns their own functional
Oh,
roles.
totally. I just, for purposes of information in the minutes, if, I just thought I'd put it in.
Yeah,
So-
did anyone formally, you're kind of like president and secretary, right?
So Meg is at least taking notes at the meetings, which I think
Okay.
makes her secretary. I don't know if
secretary.
we technically have a vice president, but we do at least have a full board of 5.
Okay, that's great.
Okay. I assume it's okay if we do it now. I mean, what's the difference? This did come up within 48 hours of our meeting, just about. So, we can vote on it tonight. I'm not sure how you want to word this motion, but does
Yeah,
someone want to
usually-
make a motion to acknowledge or
I'd say
ratify or?
I'd say accept. I would say accept the board of
Accept?
directors for
Okay,
2026. And you could put everyone's names in the motion, or you could just say the slate of directors as presented.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
easier.
Does someone make a motion on that?
I move that we accept the slate of board of directors as presented.
And you can
Maureen
get that
seconds.
from the director's report, Charlotte, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. And the second,
Maureen seconded.
okay?
Can we have a little discussion now? We can have a
Sure.
little bit of discussion now, right?
Yeah.
So Alice, thank you very much for stepping up and taking this role. I guess it could be before we vote or after. Is there anything else you want to add about what's happening or how it's going or anything you want or need?
I mean, I've had one meeting as president so far, so I think Matthew covered it pretty well from the report that he got from Leanne from our minutes last week.
Okay, great. Thank you. We'll give you all the support you could please ask.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else? Any questions for Alice? Okay. So let's vote on accepting the Pulte board as presented in the director's report. Lauren,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
Judith,
Aye.
Alicia,
Aye.
Charlotte,
Aye.
and I am an aye. Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you, Alice.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
thank you. Okay. All right, Matthew, I guess we can go on to the rest of the report.
You're muted, Matthew.
You're muted.
Yeah.
Thanks.
go.
I forgot I did that. Yeah, so jump up to the top of the report, all the statistics and stuff. I'm not going to go through every one. We're seeing the same trends. You know, we're still about 10% above last year as far as circulation, which is great. That's where I want to be. We broke a few random records like ebooks, overdrive ebooks, and great room use. I think those are just kind of blips. So we didn't do anything unusual that pushed us to a new record, but just general usage going up.
It was impressive, Matthew, the increase from the Knowlton Ristine building to the community
Yeah.
center that you noted. That is really impressive.
Yeah, I would talk about that a little bit more when we hit my report, but I did pull that because, you know, when you compare year over year, it's, you know, when you're seeing, okay, 20% higher this year, 15% higher this year, and then you actually look at what that means over the course of a
Mhm.
3-year period, it's, you know, really dramatic. So we saw that, you know, that really huge. We had that basically a doubling of activity the year we moved in. But it's nice to see that momentum has kept going, right? I mean, you know, it's now we're 2.5 years in the community center and we're still seeing, you know, steady 10% increase every year over year. All right. Was there anything in programs I wanted to mention? Nothing super unusual. I did want to, this was the, I think the first month. So we have these 4 Tuesday eve afternoon programs that are sort of our teen outreach, the, you know, chess club, crafting club, gaming club, Magic the Gathering. And they've been getting attendance not very high, but I think this was the first month that we had at least more than one kid at every one of those events. So hopefully that is a trend we can continue. Any questions about any of the statistics or programs or anything?
What kind of adult programs have we got going on, Matthew?
So the winter seed sowing, that was I wrote town board there. That was actually the mosquito and tick control board wanted to do something, so they partnered with Michaela and Leanne on that. Obviously, the drum circle is happening every month. We have the book groups, the virtual author talks, tabletop game night. So we haven't done, at least in November, December, there weren't many sort of like special outside performer kind of things, just our regular monthly events. I think Michaela is working on lining up some more of those local expert sort of things as we get into the spring.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I didn't actually put this in my report, but I do want to mention it. I want to talk about room use and room reservations a little bit. So we have been getting a lot of outside groups looking to use the space, which is great. We want it to be used. It's a combination of 140 Arts is doing a lot of stuff and they're looking for some space. We have our yarn group. We've had a couple different theater groups say, can we hold our rehearsals there? We have some nonprofit groups that are like, can we meet on Saturdays? And then on top of that, you have the private events like, the birthdays or the sort of board meetings. We have, like what do you call it? The Metacosmic Land Trust meets, every once in a while. We have Sundays now. We have three different Girl Scout troops and one Boy Scout troop that's regularly meeting on Sundays.
Sunday.
Yeah. So it's good. These are all uses that we want to have. The issue we're starting to run into is available times are running out pretty quickly. We're trying to we like to try to balance keeping rooms available for municipal programs, library events, senior center events. And as we are looking at the policy manual and when there's a new town manager, we want to rework some things. I don't want to make any decisions tonight. I just want people to start thinking about what your priorities are, what kind of events you'd like to see in there, what the purpose of the space is, and especially, do we want to put any frequency limits? Because we're seeing more and more, we're seeing groups that, they used it as a one-off thing, they really love it, and now they want to meet here every week.
Right.
So that's great, but we're only open 3 weeknights. So if a group wants to use it every Wednesday night, that locks out Wednesday nights for everyone else.
Right.
So do we want to think about a once a month per organization limit, twice a month? Should it be a number of hours per month? I don't know. But think about that kind of stuff because over the next couple months, we may have to make some decisions on what we want that usage to look like.
I totally agree because, it's a nice free space, nice heated, warm, comfortable, good parking. Why wouldn't everybody want to have a free space to meet?
Yeah.
So I think we could
Matthew,
run into
toward that-
real problems. Yeah.
Toward that end, I was asked over the weekend if people could play pickleball in that space because it allows for recreation. It's too small a space, fortunately, for that, but it got me thinking, what kind of limits do we have on recreational activities? Because it does say you can take part in recreation, and I just got to thinking, like, do we have any limits as to what kind of recreational activities could take place? Because I would hate to see our our screen damaged or anything else like that because of a ball or something else hitting it.
Yeah, I don't think those that's not spelled out in the policy. You can do this, you can't do that, but definitely it has to be appropriate for the facility. That is not a gym, right? You can't play basketball in there. You can't play, yeah, obviously, pickleball, you'd have a broken window and a broken piano and everything. Leaving aside the noise.
Right.
So definitely it can't be disruptive to other town services. I don't know if any of you were involved in the discussions of what do we call the building. We spent a lot of time, I think mostly on the feasibility committee, trying to come up with a better name, because when people see community center, they often think, oh, there's a pool and a basketball court, and there's not. We just couldn't. I mean, the feasibility committee spent hours, and we couldn't come up with anything better
No.
than community center.
Yeah.
So yes, there are definitely limits on, every application that comes in is reviewed for what's the nature of what you're doing in here, and is it appropriate for this space? Is it going to damage stuff? Is it going to scratch the floor? Is it going to make a lot of noise? That kind of stuff.
Matthew, are most of these groups within the town? Are they mostly town, even if they're, outside groups? Are they related to the town of Upton?
There's some variety. So that is another thing that has, staff have talked about and I've talked about is, do you put
Yeah.
some sort of limit on, does it have to be a local nonprofit?
Yes.
So we definitely have groups that have asked to use it that are based in neighboring towns. There's been some Worcester-based groups.
Wow.
Yeah, national. So there's only been a few groups that have been told no. We did have the big example. So ultimately for the Great Room, it's the town manager that has the final approval. There was one group, they're a national nonprofit that basically they teach a very specific foreign language. It's I believe, an Indian dialect. So families that come from that heritage basically have classes. They wanted to use the Great Room once a week for classes, and ultimately that application was turned down. It just didn't seem like an appropriate use. It was, not a locally based organization. But so we've talked about that. The problem is you got to be really careful when you actually write a policy that, are the Boy Scouts a local organization or are they a national organization? The Quilt Guild, I think it's based out of Blackstone, but so if you have 5 Upton residents, but the actual organization is incorporated in Grafton, does that mean we say no?
Yep.
If you say a local person has to sign the application, that's, a group that's based out of Milford could find an Upton parent to sign the application for them.
Right.
And I have to check, I believe one of the certification requirements to be state certified is that you have to make the meeting rooms available to all members of the Commonwealth. So trying to make a policy that says only Upton residents can use. I got to look at the exact wording because I know it doesn't cover programs. Like we're allowed to say story time is only for Upton residents. But I
Right.
believe one of the requirements is, I
Okay.
think it's phrased as reading rooms because it was written in the 1800s and it says reading rooms. But I think the interpretation of that is study rooms and program spaces
Okay.
have to be made available.
I was thinking more of first preference.
Yeah.
Certainly, out of towners. I mean, I would consider an Upton Girl Scout troop to be Upton. But we can certainly have that discussion when the time is right.
Yeah. So, I mean, even if you wanted to go that route, and I think you can also do things other than forbidding it. You can say, well, if you can define local nonprofit, you could give them, an earlier window to reserve it or preference for reserving it. But
Right.
you just have to think, how are you going to define local nonprofit? Does that mean the address of incorporation has to be an Upton address? Does that mean an Upton resident has to be the one who signs the application? What does that actually mean?
Okay,
I
And
mean,
we
if
would
you
make a
could
pro-
say like,
go ahead,
I'm sorry, I was
Alicia.
gonna say you could say like a school district is like Mendon Upton, and like use that sort of like as like a school district, and like that's what we consider ourselves. Like, I don't know, use the school as like a district for an area.
Mhm.
Sure. And we would have to make a proposal to the Board of Select or the town manager, right?
Right. So as it goes right now, the policy on the use of the conference room and classroom is approved by the library trustees. The policy on the use of the great room is approved by the select board.
Oh, okay. Oh, God. So it's split.
Do the scout
Hmm.
troops meet there weekly?
Most of them are twice a month.
But the knitting group and the crafted group or whatever for adults is every single week. Yeah, because
Right. But we could also do things. So the Yarn Tales group that meets there every week, that would, if we decide we want to change the policy, but we still want them to meet weekly, that would be pretty easy. If we can make it a library sponsored program, it then avoids a lot of those rules.
Hmm,
right. Okay.
okay,
Hmm.
all right.
So there's basically, I think we need to figure out what we want to see, and then then I can work on, well, how do we write a policy that makes that happen?
Okay. All right, we'll have some discussion in upcoming months.
Yeah, I just wanted to put
Um,
that out there because
Yep.
it is becoming a growing
Mhm.
concern of how to fairly allocate the use of those
Mhm.
spaces. All right, thank you
Okay.
for that. I'm going to jump back to the director's report. The roll-up grade is working in. Yay. All the staff are happy
Yay.
about that. We don't have to manually crank that thing up and down. Ingram is starting to catch back up, and this is statewide. Everyone's sort of posting, yay, we got an Ingram shipment. So we did get a big chunk of books, and I still have some, we're still working out how to minimize our shipping charges. Basically, if they ship you a box with less than 10 books in it, they charge you significantly higher shipping charges. So we're trying to, and they're shipping from multiple warehouses and things. So Michaela's been spearheading, trying to work with their sales rep to make sure we get things in larger packages that don't incur shipping charges. But our plan is to basically use them as our primary vendor for new print materials, and then we'll keep using a lot of the kids stuff. Juvenile books come from other vendors, Junior Library Guild, Abdo Books, that kind of stuff. But it's much easier for us to have one primary vendor than try to like spread our orders over multiple. It's harder to track. All right, library budget. So nothing has changed in the numbers since we presented last month. We have gotten a budget guidance memo from the town manager, which basically said, try to be efficient and level service, which is important. Level service means ask for enough money to provide your current level of services. That's different from level funding. Level funding means keep the same numbers as last year.
Good point.
So we're right
Oh.
on track with that. That's encouraging. I did have a meeting with the HR director to talk about a bunch of stuff, and I explained what we were talking about, what we were proposing for staffing, including the merit raise for all employees and the additional hours for the 2 positions we're talking about increasing. And she seemed to think that that was a acceptable plan and course of action. HR doesn't always look at the cost of things as much as the FinCom does, but at least that's good that, they're sort of on board saying this is a reasonable request. So I didn't feel any need to change our budget request,
Mhm.
and I think we should approve it and send it to the FinCom and see what they say.
Sounds good.
Any discussion? Nobody, huh? All right. Okay. Does someone want to make a motion to approve the, whatever it is, proposed budget? What do you call it?
FY27 departmental budget request.
Okay, budget request.
I move that we approve the FY 27 budget request.
Okay. Someone a second?
I second, Lauren.
Second,
Lauren,
I'll second
thank
it.
you. Okay. Any other discussion? All right, let's take a vote. Lauren,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
Judith,
Aye.
Alicia,
Aye.
Charlotte,
Aye.
and I, unanimous. Okay. Much easier than last year so far.
Yeah, well, we'll see after if the FinCom looks at it. That's when we.
Yeah.
All right, this is just an item for the trustees to look at. You don't have to vote, but you can provide feedback to me directly. We have this program evaluation form that we've been wanting to do for a while. Amelia and I have put together a draft. So this would be basically a little half-page sheet, front and back, that we will have printed out. We'll hand it to everyone that comes to a library program, adult or children's. There'll be an online version if you prefer to just, scan the QR code into the online version, just to get a little bit of feedback. Primarily what I want to look at is that first question, where did you hear about this program? Because I want to evaluate our publicity methods. We put a lot of work into Facebook posts and newspaper articles and flyers. And, if no one is actually coming to a program because they saw it in the newspaper, I'm not going to continue putting as much effort into that mode. So that's really important to me. We also really want to get some hard data on what time is best. I know Leanne is really committed to having some Saturday options for children's programming. We always do our story times in the mornings. Maybe people actually would prefer to have them in the afternoons. And then the age recommendations, because we definitely have been enforcing our age registry regulations more now. We are definitely telling people, no, you can't bring your 3-year-old to the 5 to 12 program. Partially because the programs are filling up and they're taking up a slot, and also because having a participant who is widely outside the approved age can be disruptive. If you're planning a craft that involves, cutting or, hot glue guns or something, and all of a sudden there's a 3-year-old there, it, takes considerably more attention away from the rest of the program. So we want to ask those questions. We are always adjusting the age limits on programs to make them work. We're not just applying them because that's what we think they are. It's really what works for the program. And then since we're putting out the form anyway, we have the open-ended questions. If anyone wants to provide feedback on, the room was too cold, or, story time was too loud, or, whatever they want to write, they can write that.
Okay.
So I just wanted some extra eyes on it. So if you do see anything that either, this could be worded better, or have you thought of this, email me, and we still have some time to adjust it.
One quick question.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
look at it and I see social media libraries page. So I guess I'm assuming you mean Facebook, or do you mean Instagram? I can't
So
tell.
the two social media outlets we use are Facebook and Instagram right now.
Right. So from this, you're not going to be able to identify which one's being used more, though, unless you put something down under other. Do you
Right.
not want to know which of those is more used, or that doesn't really matter?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
The one reason I'm hesitant to start listing social media is then, would it make sense to list the ones we're not using? I have no interest in, the Twitter kind of format doesn't really work well for library advertising, but, people could use it. You know what?
What
That
about TikTok? Do
that
people
might
use?
make Yeah, so
TikTok in
some
general for
libraries
a
do
lot of
use
things?
TikTok.
Yeah,
Again, that video format, you have to have a different sort of. Instagram and Facebook are easy because basically you make the same post and you put it in both places.
right, right, right. But it'd be nice to know what people use more, even though I imagine both are used, so you probably would end up with both, and this will tell you that. But if there was a way for them to list which social media, or when you say social media, other pages, I guess I would want to know, are they seeing it on Up to Moms? Are they seeing on Mendon Upton this? What are they seeing? Which one are they seeing it on? So we can be
Yeah.
sure to post things there. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point. We can work on
Yeah.
changing that because you're right. I think we should separate out. Um, Again, it doesn't take us much more effort to post on both Instagram and Facebook, but it would be good to know. We get some of this data. I asked Amelia to try to see what she could get from, Facebook and Instagram, like how many clicks we're getting and how many views and stuff. And it unfortunately was not as helpful as you think it would be. But yeah, you're right. Because in social media, other page, what I'm really looking for there is, you're right, Upton Moms or, um, someone that shared
Absolutely.
it or a friend that shared it or something. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Lori. Yeah, we'll work on. I think you're right. I think we should say the library's Facebook page, library's Instagram page, and then maybe share. I don't want to call out like
It also may
specifically
be an opportunity,
Upton
like with
Moms.
Wildberry. I know you want people to sign up for it. I wonder if there's a way to put besides that one, a link to sign up, for different things. Or if in the QR code, there was a way to sign up for it.
Yeah, probably not on the, like, obviously we can't put a link on the paper. We're hoping if someone sees something, oh, like, I don't know what a Wowberry is, I'll go ask a staff person. But possibly, yeah, you could link to sign up. Um, yeah, thank you. If you think of anything else like that, send it to me. But I think definitely, yeah, listing out Facebook versus Instagram versus I'll have to think third party. So, or maybe I'll say like social media share or shared from a friend or something
Also,
on Facebook.
if you have a professional account for Instagram, if you go to the insights, you can see how many views your page has had within a month, your interactions, any new followers, and then the content you shared. Like it gives you like a full breakdown.
Yeah, I don't think we have a professional account,
Hmm.
but I can check. We certainly don't pay Instagram anything.
Okay.
Okay, those are great suggestions. I'm going to make some notes on those and if you think of anything else like that, please email me.
Okay. Thanks, Lori. That was a good suggestion.
Okay, what is next on the director's
The
report?
library director.
Okay, yes, so it's time for our annual reports to the town. One comes from the trustees, which is usually written by the chairperson, and then one comes from myself as a library director. So I've written my report for that. I pretty much have kept the format the same as last year. I do like a little general blurb about stuff and then some selected statistics so people could compare year to year. Yeah, obviously very happy with our statistics and our numbers. And then I did focus on all the different types of things that are happening on the building. They're not all library things, but there are
Right.
interesting things happening. And I've got to say, writing this report, it was very gratifying and it was enjoyable. I spent for 20 years, every year I wrote the library is too small and we can't do all these things that we wish we could do. And now I can actually write a report that is, hey, we added a whole bunch of great things. So these are much more fun to write now than they were previously.
Mhm.
Matthew, I had a question about downloads of electronic items. There's a lot of numbers there. What is that?
Let
Is that-
me jump to that. So
Yeah,
that is
it's the third page.
yeah. So that's essentially oh, I see what I did. So that number is how many times basically a Libby download or a Hoopla download or a Bookflix download. And what Debbie is pointing out is that I left last year's number was 15,476, and
Ah,
what I had
okay.
done on that whole section, I was typing in this year's number and then calculating the percentage change and then deleting last year's number, and I clearly forgot to
Okay.
delete last year's number. So
Okay.
thank
Good.
you for catching that. So I'll take out the 15,476, and we'll just say that this year there were 17,000 downloads, and that is 10% more than last year. So yes, if you do, I was going to say if you do see any other little typo things like that, but honestly, I have to submit this thing pretty soon. So you know what? I will wait until Wednesday to submit it. So if anyone happens to catch another little typo, please let me know. That's one reason why I definitely like having other people look at it. I should probably have Leanne and Michaela read through it too.
Okay. Any questions or feedback from Matthew? Okay. The Pulte stuff. So is there anything else, Matthew?
Not from my report, I don't think. Did you want to cover the trustees annual
Yeah.
report
Yes.
as well? Yeah.
Yeah, I put annual reports, plural, so that we could cover both. Because I think they were due on Saturday or I don't know, something. Anyway, so the report of the library trustees, I sent that out last week. Charlotte gave me a couple of grammatical changes that were minor in nature. They didn't change any of the statistics. I do need to go over the highlights and make sure the numbers, whatever I list there, has to be correct. So I have to finalize that. But is there anything that's not in here that should be, you think, or any corrections, deletions, additions, anything?
I
No?
thought you did a great job, Deb.
Yeah.
It was a lot of information. It was done very well. Thank you. And you too, Matthew.
Thank you. Okay.
I have to
All right.
say something. Can I say
Oh.
something?
Yep, for sure. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Lori.
I'm just looking at the director's report, Matthew, and there's an awful lot of emphasis on expanding our children's programming. But I don't see anything in here about adult programming. There's a whole paragraph on children's program. I don't see anything. It's like it's not a priority at all. And I feel like community members really want adult programming. They talk to me about it all the time. I don't see a word about it in here.
Well, I mean, I can't report stuff we didn't do. So if that is a priority going forward, we
Maybe-
can change things.
Yeah, maybe you
I-
could put it in the future section, that last paragraph.
I feel like it's been a priority for a long time with the trustees.
Yeah, I mean, so we added a bunch of children programs this. I mean, I could have mentioned drumming circle.
But
I
these
don't
aren't
think
really
it's
our programs, are they? I guess
Drum
is
Circle?
Drumming
Yeah,
Circle now our
absolutely is.
program now? Okay.
Yes. I attend every single, that is solidly a library program. It has always been a library
Okay.
program. It's just funded by the Friends. Um,
I
Yeah,
do
I
agree
don't-
with Lori because we have so much senior housing over 55. I shouldn't say senior housing, and more coming into town. That it, it's an increasing population here for sure.
People talk about it. They say, I wish there was more for adults.
okay. I mean, definitely when we're talking about goals and priorities for next year, let's do that. I mean, the last big change we made to adult programs was when we hired the adult librarian. And that was not this fiscal year, so that's why it's not in the report. So not much has changed, I would say, from 2024 to 2025. We made big changes from 23 to 24 because that's when we moved in the new building and hired the adult librarian.
Right. I think we thought there'd be more programming coming from that as well. So
What time would that have to be, Lori? Like 6:37 at night for like programs to start?
I think it's more content based. What the content is, bring people in, activities for adults. I know we've got the tabletop game night. I think it's more of a kind of a family thing. But other than, and
That's
other
18 plus,
groups,
actually.
okay, and other groups come in and they use the space and they're doing some programming, but in terms of what we develop or offer,
I
could
would
be
think it could be
Saturdays.
daytime or evening,
I think day or
depending
night,
on who you were appealing to.
right?
So daytime, we basically can't use the great room because it is always used by the senior center. So that's one of the other things I look at is if you look at the building as a whole, right? We don't run Tai Chi classes. We don't run chair exercise classes. We don't run Mahjong. We don't run Scrabble. We don't run bingo. But all those things are happening in the building. So I
Right,
guess
we've got
maybe I'd want concrete suggestions on what sort of
Yeah.
things you're hearing that we're not doing. I mean, we do book groups, we do music events, we bring outside, we have the local experts program that's still doing something every couple months or so. We
Would
have
you
the
say that mostly is people who come in to you and say, I'd like to do something? Or are we going out and looking for them? How does that usually function?
It's a combination of both. So local experts is it's a way that we can. It's not a lot. We usually give $100 or $150. You know, that's how we got the drum circle going. The first couple events of those before it turned into a monthly thing. Um, it's basically a way if someone in the community says, "I have this ability I can share," instead of having to make them volunteer and do it, we can at least give them a little bit of money. You know, that won't pay for, you know, a professional presenter nowadays starts at $500 for an hour-long program. They've gotten so expensive. I mean, we tried stuff too. You know, we had tech help night for a long time that no one came to. You know, we've tried the movie nights that no one really has come to. Some were kids, some were adults. So keep throwing out ideas.
I got an idea.
I'm going to say keep our limitations in mind, right? Because again, we have staffing limitations and we have budgetary limitations. So something that costs $2,000 is not going to happen from the library budget.
Alicia?
Yeah. So I've been to a few times to like breweries and they offer like a drink and draw, but I don't drink. So I thought it would be nice to have for the library to have that. You bring your own like sketch pad or your own like materials, like coloring your own markers or colored pencils, like a coloring book night kind of thing. People are like super into coloring books now. But instead of like drinking, it could be something else. Instead of like drink and draw, it could be like, I don't know, seltzer and draw or something. Like, I don't know. Something creative for people maybe who don't drink or just want to get out of the house and do something, that kind of thing.
How about cannabis and color? Legal.
You'd have to do that beforehand, I think.
Lori, doesn't 140 Arts do something like that? I thought I saw something.
Lauren Scheuer, who used to work at the library, is offering 3 Thursday night art sort of classes at the brewery. And you don't have to drink if you go to it, but they're, you know, that's just, they'll be over. And then I think she may be offering again through the senior center.
Yeah, I think it's nice because the brewery's really loud, and if you want like a quiet place to just like, I feel like the library
No,
is more
I've heard
like,
of that happening at
yeah,
libraries. I've heard of that too. You know, I've said for a long time, I'm dying to have some writers and people come in to bring to our community that people from other communities would want to see because you don't have the chance to do it. And I understand that it costs money. I think the Friends of the Library is very generous and might be supportive of some things like that, at least to help us, or could write cultural council grants. As we live in Massachusetts, we've got all these amazing people around. I go to other libraries to see them because I love it sometimes that people could come to ours as well.
Okay.
When I was at
Alicia,
the-
is there
oh.
somebody who is leading that group? Or
No,
do literally 10 people show up, they drink a beer and they draw?
No,
Oh.
one of my friends runs it at like Aeronaut Brewery in Somerville. So it's not like, but I've only been once or twice, and
Mhm.
I just like breweries are just kind of loud and like
Yeah.
pretty dimly lit, and I'm like with my like flashlight on my phone trying to like color 'cause it's like, it's not my scene.
But there's no leader or
Yeah,
art
yeah, there is.
teacher.
Yeah, like there's one person that puts it together and is like, this is the day we're doing it, and like, I don't know, people will brainstorm some ideas if you're having a hard time like
Yeah.
thinking of something that you want to draw, and like people will write like a bunch of different things on a pad, and like people will read it or whatever, or you can just bring your coloring stuff and color. Yeah.
Okay.
Do
Okay.
we ever do trips? Like I was thinking the Boston Athenaeum would be a really cool trip to take.
Oh, trips are fun. Yeah. Little field trip.
Yeah. No? Okay.
I really like the model of the library supporting other organizations as opposed to the library sort of deciding, oh, there needs to be this art event and then trying to convince people to come to it. That's why I love that the Quilt Guild meets at the library. They're using it now twice a month. I love that the Yarn Tales group is there. I love that 140 Arts is doing stuff and using our space. Because it's very frustrating for myself and other library staff to try to create a program and then basically convince people they want to come to it. It's so much nicer when there's a group of community members that want something to happen and just needs a little help or support. And I know we've been talking about this. I mean, Lori and I have been talking about. Lori mentioned this, at trustee meetings for as
20
long as she's been
years.
a trustee. And it's yeah, and other libraries have different models. Some of them, you just throw money at the problem. You're like, here's $2,000, have an author come out and speak.
Well,
We
Matthew,
apply
what
for
is,
cultural council grants. So Lauren and the library co-sponsored. She's doing a one chicken program and one art program coming up in the spring. We were actually turned down for 2 cultural councils. I've never had a library get turned down for a cultural council grant. 2 of ours were turned down this year. I don't know whether they
What was
just got a lot.
What was the content of them, Matthew?
One was the drum circle, because I'm looking for alternative funding sources for the drum circle. And the other one, it was something Leanne applied for. I think it was a musician, and one of hers got approved and one of hers got turned down. And I run the trivia program. One of the friends actually, the Canva, an idea. One of the friends threw out the idea of doing a can. That actually, when Leanne brought that to me, that's something I think I can do. But I did that program on identifying false information, and a lot of times I feel like we're spending 4 or 5 hours of prep time and then running a program, and 3 people show up, and it's frustrating. And is it because the advertising isn't there? Is it the wrong time? I don't know, but we've never had good attendance at library created programs. What we get good attendance at are like the 140, stuff that comes organically from the community. and we help them find a space, or we let them use our registration method. You know, the mahjong thing came in, and that was good. You know, but again, that's, you know, how many, there were 3 Upton residents had a program out of that 30 people attended, 36 people attended.
You know, I think, you know how you
Matthew,
had
you mean
that eyes
cribbage,
on
not
owls?
mahjong.
Yeah, sorry, cribbage. Yeah, not mahjong, cribbage.
You had some an owl program that was big. You've had some animal programs that were big for kids. I think, and I'm sure they cost a little bit more, but they're very high interest and you get more people. I think the same would be true for adults. I think if we had programs that we found out have been good in other places, we advertise them well, they're high interest, there, I think there's a chance that we would be able to, you know,
Our experience has been, if you can bring your kids to it, we can fill a room. If not, then no one in Upton comes out at night to go to adult programs. We had that lecture on the Boston Marathon, actually got good attendance. So we have people come out and give awesome presentations to 5 people.
and but you said that got good attendance. I know the Historic Society, they're doing some every month and they're getting attendance. I think people will come out. It just has to really be something that interests them. So maybe we can all start looking around and see if we can find some high interest people that you'd love to see come. And if you'd love to see them come, probably others would too.
Yeah, I mean, I
that
love that,
thing
again,
was phenomenal.
Historical Society is booking the Great Room. So I love that other groups that have, you know, that they already have a built-in interest, right? The Historical Society knows
Right.
what sort of historical, as opposed to me finding someone that's going to give a lecture on, you know, the Boston molasses flood or something, and then I try to hope people are interested. But yeah, the
Right.
Historical Society can get, you know, 30, 40 people that consistently come out to events like that. So yeah, let's keep working on it. Again, look at what, you know, if you see another library doing something, I know author visits like start at $2,000. If it's a name that you've heard of, you start at $10,000. I know Mendon can sometimes get Michael Tugias because he lives there, but yeah, a name that Leanne looked at, I don't remember who the author was, but Leanne looked into one and is like, oh, this is like a sort of a middle, you know, it's not, you know, Stephen King or James Patterson, but, you know, a sort of mid-range author whose name you would recognize. And she started at $10,000 to come out and do a 1-hour lecture.
Matthew, I went to I think it was last year to Michael Tuga. They were actually turning people away. It was too bad. Like I had suggested to him, maybe if they had called us to, like, we had more space would have been nice, because they actually had so many people and that not really a big area. So I shouldn't say too many people. It just, you know, the area probably was smaller and made it look like it was more people, but he did a really good job over there.
Was that through the library, Joe?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and a couple of Upton people were there too, and he does a lot of local, I shouldn't say a lot, but you know, some of the local stories he was doing, the Indians and being in the area, so it was a great presentation. Like I said, our great room and stuff is so much better. It would have been so much nicer than not be crammed in like that.
Yeah. Okay, Charlotte, did you have something you wanted to say a while ago?
Well, Matthew just mentioned it, but when we were at the Friends meeting that Cindy did bring up the Canva, I think that would have a lot of interest because it is so widely used now and some of us don't know how to use it. And Lori actually told me when I mentioned it to her that MBLC has a program, Lori, did you say, to train people to teach Canva?
MLS, Mass Library Systems.
Okay.
They're creating a program for librarians, for public librarians, to train them how to give workshops on it in their community. So I just saw that on my listserv a couple days ago, Matthew. I think I did not forward it to you. I might not have. And they're developing a class right now on how to teach Canva. So that will be perfect.
I mean, that particular topic, I think I can do because I feel like I know enough about it. And it is interesting, and I think I could teach a class on that. But typically, when we have tried that kind of stuff, we have specifically on tech stuff, we have not gotten attendance. We get one or two people that come to something like that, and it's a combination of the people that are interested. How many of them are able to come out to the library at
At that
6
time,
o'clock on a
yeah.
Wednesday night? And even if I offer it twice, is that the Wednesday they're free, or is it, when we did that, we were doing the tech help, even when Michaela was taking appointments. Usually when people come to us for tech help, they have a specific problem that they want solved immediately. They don't want to be told, come to our workshop next month.
Right, and I
I
also-
just brought it up because when Cindy brought it up at the meeting, and there were maybe 10 or so people there, at least maybe 12. Everyone was like, yeah, that would be, I think we're all hungry for that, because I know I'm just Google all the way, but I'd love to learn Canva now. So
I think you would have, I think that's different from tech, just general tech help. And I think the senior center's been doing tech help for a long time. So a lot of people have gotten used to going there possibly. But I've heard this mentioned a lot of times that people would be interested. And doesn't Amelia use it?
Yo, the library uses it extensively. Yeah.
yeah,
Right,
Leanne
right,
said she
right.
uses it, but
Right.
she wasn't really
Like
comfortable
community members
teaching.
would love, I think. I think that
Mhm.
would be that would be pretty high interest. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll try it and see what I'm just saying, typically what we've heard is lots of people say, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, I'd love to do that. And then we hold a program and nobody comes.
Matthew, just a quick aside, but kind of on the subject is when I'm down there, I'm awful with tech, and I was down there a week or so ago, and the ladies were very helpful with. I was trying to print something out, so just so you know, they were great, kind of taking my phone and showing me where to go and stuff. So I appreciate it. Just
Yeah,
give you a
thanks.
heads up.
And Michaela and I do take appointments, if someone has an issue and they want to, something we can help them with in 15 minutes or half an hour. So, but we've never been successful with the sort of lecture classroom style, teach how to do a specific thing.
Remember, we've only been in this new accessible space for 2 years, 2.5 years now. So it takes a long time to build it. I mean, for lots of different reasons, but hopefully over time we can build it a little bit more and we can bring great
Okay.
stuff to Upton too. I mean,
Okay. Back to the annual report.
there's programming going.
Who said something? I'm sorry.
Lori's freezing.
Oh, Lori, you're freezing.
Oh, okay. I was just saying there's lots of programming going on in town, so people are coming out for things because there's lots of other groups doing it as well. And
Yeah.
hopefully over time, we don't have a reputation for doing programming because we haven't done it for a long time because we didn't have an accessible space. And it's only a couple of years since we do. And so let's not give up. Let's keep trying until we figure out how to do it. I mean, I think about if we have an open space presentation, a lot of people come. So maybe we ask them to help us advertise. Or if there's a Metacomet thing, a lot of people come. So maybe we ask them somehow to advertise if it's a nature thing. We'll get better at this as time goes on, I'm sure.
Okay. Can I have a motion on the report of the library trustees?
I move that we accept the report of the library trustees.
I second
Nine
Alicia.
seconds.
Okay, all
Anybody?
right.
As well.
Any discussion on it? I know we didn't discuss much of it, but okay. All right, Lauren,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
Judith,
Aye.
Alicia,
Aye.
Charlotte,
Aye.
and I am an aye. I mean, maybe Lori, one of the things we should do is just have a brainstorm and bring some ideas to the next meeting or the meeting after that. And maybe Matthew can flesh those out as to whether the staff has the time or whether it's in the budget, not in the budget. Could the friends, help us with it, those kind of things. to see if there's something like the Canva. I mean, that just came up at the Friends meeting. So maybe some brainstorming would help.
At programs that some of the libraries around us offered, Grafton and Millbury particularly come to mind. And I felt like a lot of what they were doing, our senior center was doing instead. You know,
Yeah.
like what they were doing at the library in Upton, we were doing through the senior center. So that may be part of it.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that because they do run a lot of programs during the day. And some of those programs are programs the library might run, you know, with time and budget and all that. But they are running some programs that could be library programs, but they're not. So,
Right, they do a lot of programming, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So people
Okay.
do come out. Yeah.
All right, is there anything else before we break?
Matthew, do you want to put anything in your director's report about adult programming? You just want to leave it out completely?
What would you want me to put, Lori? I I mean, number of attendance at programs is kids and adult. I mean, I could break that out if you want. Kids attendance versus adult attendance. We do have those numbers broken out. I mean, drum circle is probably the only thing we added this year that we didn't do previously. 'Cause, I mean, that's what I mean. So the whole children's program section is about the things that changed this year.
I see, yeah.
The highlights.
Well, it's not even highlighted because I mean, when you look at the director's report, right? I can't list, you know, the list of monthly programs is a page all by itself.
Yeah.
So is there something specific?
I mean, here we are, we're doing all this passport activity, which isn't even a library thing, and we don't have anything about it programming for adults. It just seems crazy to me. I don't know. And it is great how many community groups use it. It just feels like we ought to be able to do something. Now, we, you know, we added an extra staff person just kind of for adult stuff. So, and I do
I mean,
think Leanne does a lot with just one and a partial person. Yeah.
so I guess do you want me to put a paragraph in the director's report describing the adult programs we are doing, or are you concerned about you want us to be doing more? Because those are two separate things. The annual report is supposed to describe a snapshot of what happened or changed with the library over the last year. So do you want me to add a little section on adult programming where I would talk about, you know, drum circle, tabletop game club, the book groups? The reason there's nothing in there is because nothing changed this year.
I think that would be great, though. At least it would give people a sense of what's going on there around adult programming. Might be a good place to start. You could talk
Okay,
about the local experts thing.
Okay, again, that's not in there because it's not new.
I know,
but
I understand
Well,
that.
the cribbage tournament's new though, so you could certainly put that in there.
yeah, I mean, typically a program that we held once that only had 3 Upton residents at is not something I would highlight in my annual report.
But we're going to do it again, right?
We've signed up to do it twice more next year. But again,
Okay.
this is a report of things
Next
that
year.
happened the previous year.
Right.
It's not what.
I understand that, but I think you've got to have something in there about it. Whatever you can put in, I think we should have, because that's a little bit of a reflection of what's going on there, and I think people need to know that that's happening. And there is some stuff, you know, we have all these book groups, so that's good too. So, yeah, I'd say something about adult programming should be there.
Okay,
my
I think
opinion.
I can do
That's
that.
just me.
I can
Okay.
add a paragraph summarizing. Again, that's kind of what I was getting at in the section at the top, because as we've discussed, the the majority of things happening in the building that adults would want to go to are not library programs. They're things that we're providing the infrastructure and the support for, right? Like the jazz concert that Bob Nichols did. It's not a library program, but I certainly worked with him to make it successful.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that Lauren's doing, the stuff that 140 Arts is doing. So we can't claim those as library programs.
I do think one thing with the cribbage tournament that should be highlighted is the fact that we are doing it in conjunction with other libraries, even if at this point we only have a couple people from Upton.
Yep.
I think
And what about
that's
too, if you're doing it in conjunction, I'm thinking as a taxpayer point of view, it sounds better. I like that even better, that these programs are going on and we're not necessarily paying for it, but you are obviously helping out and we are paying for that, but we're not having to pay for the program that people are enjoying per se.
Right.
good point,
All
Jay.
right. I'll throw a paragraph in there. Again, unfortunately, this has to be turned in very soon, so you guys probably won't get to see it. I'll send out another
Okay.
draft, but there won't be a chance for comments. So I can definitely add a paragraph summarizing the recurring adult events that we did do in 2025. And we'll keep it in mind, going forward. Maybe I just need to do a better job highlighting how much adult stuff is happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really in favor of big, flashy, let's spend, $5,000 on 1 hour long event. I much prefer let's do
Agree.
something regularly, monthly. One of the rules of thumb I try to have when I look at programs and budget is I get uncomfortable when anything costs more than $10 per participant. That's one of the lenses I look at it through. So it's not the first time I've had this discussion, and I think we'll keep having it. And maybe we need to claim the things that like, the Yarn Tales group. It's not a library program, but it is a crafting club that we support that meets in the library every week.
Right, but it's right. But it's not a
Well, it's kind
library
of like the
program.
Mahjong group at the senior center. They don't necessarily, they provide the space, but it's not really a senior center program, I wouldn't think. It's just, a collective group is using their space, but they kind of claim credit for that. So you could do the same.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I
I want to
agree.
learn Mahjong too, and I don't know why there's not an adult offering on that, because I can't go when the seniors are there. I'm
Right.
working.
Right.
And even maybe if
Yeah.
somebody reads it, it's more advertising too.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Also, is that yarn program open to people who would like to come in, or is it a closed club?
No, it's open to the public.
Okay.
It's every Tuesday night. You have a paragraph about what we're focusing on, and so it's not, adult program is not a thing we focus on at all. And we've
Okay.
got a lot of stuff about what the elder services program does. So I certainly would want to put in about what we do.
All right, work on that, Matthew. You can send it to us, and I know it was due, I think, late last week, so we're still okay. But something short would be great.
Thank you. I'm sure when you look at it, you'll find things to put in.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you. I appreciate that.
Anything else? Okay. Did somebody have something? Okay. I thought I heard somebody talk. All right, then we are out at 7:56.